This watch is a perfect example that back in the day, they actually designed watch cases much better than they do today. Better than a lot of the mainstream stuff. Because this company is actually a Swiss watch brand that's been resurrected. It's a company that went away during the quartz crisis back in the day. And they've brought it back, and this particular model is, it is lovely. It is so nice to look at. I call this watch deceptively beautiful. At first glance, the watch looks very nice. It's clean, it's elegant, but when you get in nice and close and you look at the details, those design elements really start to stand out. From the case shape, that pipe hand dial, that gorgeous font. I think reviving a brand and going back into the archives to bring back some of the designs, this is lovely. It harkens back to a particular era which it looks beautiful, but it's not all roses, because bringing back some of the older designs, they also might suffer from some of the older design issues that they had back then. And this one here is not exempt. There are some areas in this watch which unfortunately design-wise cannot be avoided because of its vintage inspiration, and I'm going to share that in my room for improvement section. Now, Trematic has sponsored this video, so I will of course leave a link in the description section. If this watch interests you, by all means, feel free to check it out. And diving straight into the specs of this watch, I measure a case diameter of 38 with a case height of 10.9. That lug to lug is 46 and a lug width of 20. The crown is a 5.4mm push-pull crown. The watch offers 50 meters of water resistance, and the total weight on the supplied leather strap I measure exactly 61 grams. Now on the wrist, this is a very nice experience. Obviously harkening back from the vintage watch, which the original was a 37mm, this one is a 38. It's actually going to wear very close to what the original did. And that leather strap with a nice taper also aids in its comfort. Now looking at that strap, it's actually vegan leather. It's not real leather. It's made out of plants, so it's faux leather. Like you get faux patina, you got faux leather. Now, how long this thing lasts, I'm not sure. It does look good. It feels good. It actually feels like suede in my hands. And the tang buckle, the hardware also seems to be on a very good level. Now for me personally, being a strap guy and having a dial like this, I swapped it out. I've placed it on a blue Artem strap and it seems to have elevated the watch beautifully. In fact, it's pretty impressive to say the least. Now if I turn the watch over, you'll notice there's a solid case back. And harkening to the original design, they've kept it true to form. And behind that case back is a Swiss Solida SW200. It's an elaborate grade, around 41 hours of power reserve. And when I mentioned they designed cases back in the day better than what they do today, this has got an SW200 and you wouldn't tell. From that profile, I would have thought there's a Miyota in here or something, because it's so thin. It looks thin. It's 10.9mm with that crystal, but the way the case is designed and the undercut and those long lugs that taper all the way down, it looks really thin. So kudos, well done in that department. Now apart from that case, another hero of this watch is that dial. If you have a close look at that dial, it's a pipe hand design. It's got a nice subtle dome in that dial with applied markers and Arabics. And I've got to say, those Arabics are drop dead gorgeous. The 10, the 6 and the 4 look absolutely beautiful. This is one of those watches, you have to have it. You have to have it in the hand, because even with my professional photography skills, I've photographed this, I've done macro, what have you. I'm trying to show you this watch, how beautiful it is. It's better in the hand. It really is. And that sapphire crystal does have a very subtle dome to it. And in saying that, you'll notice from some of the videography outdoors that it looks like it's picking up a lot of reflections. And it's got a decent amount of AR coating, so it's doing an okay job. And I say okay because I can see the dial, I can see the legibility on this. It's just a subtle twist and you can see the time easy. And what you're seeing from the video, it looks like it's picking up a lot of reflections. Well, it is, but it also works in its benefit in a funny way, which I'll explain in my room for improvement section. Now lastly, if I get on the website, you can see that there's quite a few different colorways. So they've revived this particular watch with a couple of modern colors, which is nice. I believe the original probably would have been the white dial, but looking closely at this blue, I think they've done a really good job in finding a good balance between vintage and modern. Now the price is not inexpensive by any means. It comes in at 1,491 Australian dollars. That's around 940 USD. So it's not inexpensive. And what do you put as a price as a watch brand that you're reviving, something that you're trying to bring back to life? I suppose it's attainable. It's not inexpensive. It is attainable, but the level of finishing, detail, case design, overall beauty of this watch is something to be desired. Now, on that note, what are my gripes and room for improvement of this watch? And first and foremost, being a dark dial and having highly polished silver hands and Arabics, sometimes you will suffer with legibility issues. Now, a quick turn of the wrist left or right, this watch comes alive. In average lighting scenarios, all you see is a dark dial. You really got to get the light on those highly polished hands to see them. But as I mentioned, just a quick twist of the wrist and you can see that dial beautifully. The Arabics, the handset, it comes alive. So keep that in mind. Now, my next gripe for this watch, that crown, it's a little bit on the small side. I'm going to forgive this watch because it is an automatic. It comes in at 5.4 millimeters, a little bit tricky to wind or hack initially. But I suppose keeping in line with a vintage aesthetic, the vintage vibe and overall look and dimensions of the original, they've kept it true to form. So in that regard, I don't have an issue. And speaking of that crown, there's a ghost position, which is a little bit unfortunate. When you hack it, when you pull it out to the first position, there's a date ghost position. Now, I cannot feel a physical date wheel in the actual movement, but there are two positions when hacking that crown. That's a small detail that I think they could easily have addressed, and going the extra mile and removing that ghost position from that movement would have been a really nice touch, especially at this price point. And last gripe for me, well, not a gripe, an observation. The leather strap itself, if you look at the spring bars, they're reversed. In other words, we're all pretty much normally used to getting a spring bar off with your right hand, removing the actual strap. This one here is the other way around, so I've been removing them with my left hand. Just a little detail that I thought I'd mention. Not a deal breaker by any means, because even myself as a strap guy, I love swapping out straps for watches, and with any watch that I get, I'm always circulating different types of looks. But overall, a very nice looking watch. It's good to see some of the old designs, some of the vintage designs, Swiss-made watches coming back to life. I cannot deny that this watch case is absolutely beautiful. The dial, as I mentioned, those Arabics are just stunning to look at. And being a dress style watch, obviously highly polished, it is going to be a fingerprint or scratch magnet. That's normal. But you're not going to be sporting a watch like this when you're on the tools. It's one of those get dressed up, let's go to dinner. It's a really nice piece on the wrist. My take on this beautiful offering from Trematic Watch Company. It's not inexpensive, it is attainable, and I think just a couple of small tweaks, as I mentioned in this review, like that ghost position, would have made it a lot easier to digest, potentially helping push someone over the line in buying a watch like this. So thanks for watching, guys. Hit me up in the comments regarding what you think of this design. Personally, I think it's beautifully executed, and again, it's one of those watches you have to have in a hand to fully appreciate it. So until the next one, be safe, be well, continue to enjoy that watch that's on your wrist, and again, try not to spend too much money in this hobby. Thanks for watching.